All right, just as a quick introduction as we're setting up, we wrote this poem a couple of years ago as a response to the invisibility of all the people who have been affected by HIV and AIDS, and all the people who have passed away, but also because Pacific Islanders are the largest group in the world that are affected by AIDS that don't talk about it. And we think it's something that should be talked about. Is this good? Yeah. "1996. 91,000 people were honored in a memorial service where over 41,000 individual patches were arranged to make a single quilt, laid out in the Washington Mall for miles for the world to see.
Teresa grasped a rainbow in her palm. 10 multicolored pills to help her ease the pain, 1 to go with each of her fingers, 2 yellow.
Teresa's favorite flower is dandelions.
3 green, her favorite color, 4 blue, a mimic of her irises, and 1 that's half black, half white like her son, who is half of her.
Joseph has a cocktail at night with his mother before bed. He is 16, traded martinis for medication at birth.
He's been dealing with the assumptions ever since. Teresa empties last month's rent onto her tongue to heal.
But that rainbow she's about to dry swallow doesn't remind her of anything she loves.
Only a constant memento of the burden she passed down to her son.
No one thinks to ask Joseph where the sickness came from.
Because we all have our imaginations, images of back alley sexual favors with strangers.
But Joseph is just an example of mother-to-son connections, of how bloody births sometimes lead to misfortune.
Teresa will always remember her first time. The first time she played 7 minutes in heaven with an elastic band and a syringe. The first time that silver steel kissed her veins after kissing her boyfriends. She just didn't know. He was making a patchwork piece of his own with a dozen others, laced with red ribbons, red like blood testing positive.
Joseph's first time won't believe him, because today, a gay teenager with AIDS can't be a virgin.
So Joseph wears his roots, a patchwork quilt, sewed to the outside of his skin.
But no one knows the reasons.
No one knows that Joseph's mother fed AIDS to her son through umbilical cord blood breast milk.
All people see is the Technicolor flags he carries in his back pocket. They don't see Jesus in his stride.
They don't see Teresa.
Don't see Joseph.
They don't see the people behind the statistics.
The 3 million children a year caught hiding secrets in blood underneath their skin.
Teresa cries knowing she passed down genocide as a dominant trait. To the only boy who loved her from broken. She had no idea her first time with IVs would lead to HIV. She swore. She only tried it just to see, never knowing.
The danger in IVs is not just in the addiction.
Sometimes there's something else hidden in the syringes. 2 years ago, there was an estimated 33 million people living with HIV/AIDS. And today, no one knows. So someday, Joseph and Teresa could be patches on a quilt, nothing more than memories, mostly forgotten, but what we fail to see is that each 3x6 panel of memory embroidery represents an individual.
Not all like Joseph and Teresa, some born infected,
some transformed by ignorance, buried beneath our feet. Sometimes I wonder if earthquakes are the dead finally brave enough to scream, so today I will scream
for the millions who are silent.
Because by the time this poem is done,
3 children will have died.
15 people will have been infected. You will not have seen this on the cover of magazines, because these are the stories of forgotten. So take these quilted memories, wrap them around yourself, and ask the hard questions. Do we not take notice because we don't think it could be us?
Don't think we could ever be sewn so broken.
Spread out for miles for God to see our seams. What would you like your legacy to be?
Would you like to be remembered by the number of pills you consumed?
By the colors of your favorite things.
By the ribbons laced in your veins.
By your first time.
By the stitches that barely held you together.
Do you want to be anything more than a number? Remember, they are real people, just like we are real people, not just another patchwork piece on a quilt.